What is up, Bulldogs? All right, so I thought I'd try something a little different today. I am going to do a live stream, but I'm not going to do the kind of shirts off live stream that I usually do. Part of it because I am fat right now. No, actually, I'm pretty sick, but what I want to do was try do some of these live streams where they're topical, and so there might be a little bit of Q&A here, but it's going to be on the topic, right? I tend to go all over the place, so anyway, I'm going to wait a little bit for a few people to get into here before I get really into the topic today, which I'm going to be talking about basically, how to stop caring about money and always make more money than you need. And there's a question I'm going to be answering here on this live stream about that. So what's up, guys? I can see you guys are pouring in here. Raphael, Kekin, what's up, guys? Good to see you here. So I'm basically going to be answering this question, and I'm going to talk about this. So it's going to be more like some of the normal videos that I do, except that you are seeing it live. And if you're wondering what you're looking at here, you're looking at a page, a video series I did that is training for how to improve your Bulldog score. So if you haven't already, there'll be a link probably in the description on your Bulldog score. I'm not sure if I put cards up in this one. I probably need to actually switch the cards out because I had a donation one. So I don't know if I can switch them out real time. But anyway, you're going to want to take that Bulldog quiz if you want to get access to this training that I have. I've got some free training on how to improve your Bulldog score. So what is up, Grant Collins? What's going on, man? All right, so let's sort of dig into this here, and let's see here, and then and like I said, for you guys just joining for this live stream, I'm not doing like an open Q&A, but I will do some Q&A after I talk about the topic, and especially if you guys want to do the super chat stuff, that will get your question to be noticed in there, or if you're a member on the YouTube, that will also will get your elevation on your question. But what I'm going to do is basically go through this question that I got here and talk about this, and then we can do some Q&A around that topic. So again, what I'm looking at, what you're looking at here on this page is the training that I put together that you can only get through right now just by going and taking the Bulldog quiz when you get on the email list. Right now, I don't think you'll automatically get enrolled in this training, but it'll open up again. It's something I'm experimenting with to help you guys to improve your Bulldog score because I get so many questions about that. Okay, so let us take a look here at the question that I got here. So I got this question, okay, and I thought this was good. It's from Vikram, and he says, "Good video, John, but one of your statements is contradicting your earlier statement. Earlier you mentioned that you moved to a better city and better locality without caring about spending more money, and here in this video, you mentioned that we should learn to live with less. How can both of these coexist? I may be wrong in my understanding." So this is a good question here. So what Vikram is talking about here is I did a video, I'm trying to think when I did this, a while back, talking about my move to California and how California is really expensive, high tax rate, high everything, but why it was worth moving out of Florida, and why that sometimes in life you just got to make the choice to just spend money and not just try and save as much money as possible. You got to live your life and enjoy your life. You got to make choices that benefit you. Okay, so I did a video on that, and then in this video, in this training, where I'm talking about your Bulldog score, and I've talked about this a lot, about essentially being frugal, essentially being able to live on less, right? And really, there's a Stoic principle, a Stoic philosophy that basically says that the way to become wealthy is not to acquire more money or not to acquire more, it's to need less. And so I think there's a lot of confusion on how all those things work. So what I'm going to talk about today is a really important concept, okay, that I call the utility value of money. And it's not a totally unique concept. I haven't heard too many people talk about this, but it's something that I learned in life, and that I think is really, really important. This is why, guys, that a lot of the gurus that talk to you about personal financing and stuff, when they deliver like this very generic message telling you what to do, why they're actually wrong. And why almost all the information that you hear out there financially is wrong. So you're going to want to stick around, because I'm going to tell you what is actually correct, by the end of this video, the end of this live stream. And it can make a big difference. It can really change your life. You have to know this information. Okay, so a lot of people, I think there's two things that you see, that you hear gurus say, okay, and they're well-meaning, all right. But I'm going to give you two examples, all right? I don't mean to just like pick on these people here, but you might be familiar with them. The first one is the example, and I don't know if I even really need to name the names, but you've heard a lot of people probably say that you should be really, really frugal. That if the exact opposite, right? These are two opposites. So you've heard people say that if you just stopped going to Starbucks every day, right, and saved your $2 or $3, okay, in a year, you could save, a couple $1,000s and pay off your debts. And that's that's the only sacrifice you need to do, is just go and get a Keurig instead of buying a $2 or $3 Starbucks coffee every morning, right? In fact, I'll call it the name, but Dave Ramsey is sort of a proponent of this ideology financially. Okay, smart guy, really good guy actually. But is this correct? Okay, I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why in a second. But let me tell you something else. Okay, I don't know if you guys put in the chat room. Well, first of all, let's see how many of you guys are familiar with Dave Ramsey. Do you know who Dave Ramsey is? Tell me yes if you do. There's a little bit of a lag here, so I'll give it a second before I move on here. So you guys don't know who Dave Ramsey is? Okay, there's a yes. Okay, a lot of you do. Okay, so how about now, there's the alternative, okay? There's someone who gives the opposite advice, okay? Really smart guy as well, okay? His name is Ramit Sethi. How many of you guys know who Ramit is? Go ahead and throw up a 1 in the chat room if you know who Ramit is. This way I can make a distinction between the two questions I asked. You guys don't know Ramit Sethi? Man, he's really smart. I will teach you to be rich.com and stuff. Okay, yeah. He's a smart guy. I like him a lot. Okay? So when I by the way, if I knock someone's advice or disagree with some point of them, doesn't mean I hate them. It doesn't mean, see, this is something, just a side note to spin off here, guys. It is so common today that if you disagree with someone, it means that you hate them. I like Dave Ramsey. I like Ramit Sethi. I disagree with some of the things that they say, and I'm gonna tell you why. But they're still wise. Okay, it doesn't. We have to have dialogues in society. I've been going through this a lot with talking with people, and I'm just amazed how many people is like, oh, I disagree with you, therefore you must be morally wrong and a horrible person, and I cannot be friends with you. This is what happens. So anyway, okay. So there's another guy, right? Ramit Sethi, okay? And I don't know if you guys have heard what he says, but he says, fuck this. He says, buy Starbucks every day. Buy $5 Starbucks every day. It doesn't matter. Like, don't try and save $1,000 or $2,000. Figure out a way to make $1,000 or $2,000 more money. Make $3,000 or $4,000 so you can get your latte every morning. So don't do it. It's a waste of fucking time. Okay? Now, that's also wrong. Well, and here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that both of the things, Dave Ramsey and Ramit Sethi are wrong for one reason. Because their advice is not contextual. They're giving blanket advice in this area. Both of these things are actually right as well, right? These are wise things that they're saying. Okay? These are wise things, right? So for what Dave Ramsey is saying, hey, all you have to do is make this small sacrifice, and you can pay off your debts. You can save a lot of money. It's a real simple thing. Like, don't waste the money. What's up, living being? Good to see you, man. But the other, and then Ramit, what is Ramit saying? He's saying, dude, why are you wasting your time trying to save money? You should be making more money. A little bit of Starbucks doesn't matter. But here's the thing that they're both missing, okay? And this is what's critical. This is what I call the utility value of money. And this is the answer to Vikram's question. Right? Well, let's look at his question one more time here. He says, your statement is contradicting your earlier statement. Earlier you mentioned that you moved to a better city and better locality without caring about spending more money. So I said I don't care about spending more money, right? Happiness or life happiness is more important. But then in this video you mentioned you should learn to live with less. How can they both coexist? So here's the thing, okay? Utility value of money. What does this mean? Let me give you some examples here. Okay, let's suppose that you are a school teacher, okay, making like, I'm going to use US dollars here, let's say $20,000 US per year. Okay, should you sacrifice your Starbucks every morning to save $2,000 or $3,000? Let's say you've got some debt as well, okay? In that case, it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because if you can save yourself a couple $1,000s a year, that represents about 10% of your income. If you could take that money and you can pay down a debt, or you can save that money and invest that money, it's going to make a significant impact on your life, especially over the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to have a cumulative effect, right? Assume that if you buy the Starbucks, you can't save, you can't pay down any debts, and you can't invest, okay? But if you forego the Starbucks, you can invest, you can get compound interest, you could pay down debts, right, and not be paying debts. Okay, so that's scenario one. Okay, now suppose that you are a hotshot software developer in the Silicon Valley. Okay, like some of you. Okay, and you're making let's say $200,000 a year working for Facebook, maybe $250,000. Okay? Should you, at that point, stop drinking Starbucks to save a couple of grand a year? Does it make sense to make that sacrifice? No. The convenience and the joy that you get from that I agree that Starbucks is not the best tasting coffee. Okay, that is totally worth it, right? Because it doesn't make a difference. Because if you save an extra if you're making $200,000 a year, it doesn't matter if you save $2,000. It doesn't change the quality of your life, and it doesn't change the outcome of your life over the next 10 years. It's negligible, right? So this is kind of the concept of the utility value of money, and that's why both of these things do exist, and that's why this advice that you're getting from a lot of financial gurus is really wrong, because it's not contextual, because it doesn't consider the utility value of money. When you're at different stages in your life and different phases, and you have a different level of income and wealth, then money matters more or less, right? This is something that is really, really important. Yes, you got to stop spending the money on hookers, El Dorino, okay? until you're rolling, until you're at least 6-figure, maybe 7-figure, then you can just spend it on cocaine and hookers. All right, like the rock stars. All right, buddy. So here's the thing. All right, you gotta. There's no contradiction here. Okay, there is an overlying principle, which is to understand no matter what, which is the Stoic principle, the Stoic philosophy, which basically says that, again, we could go back to this idea that what makes a man wealthy, what makes a person wealthy, is not that they have a lot. It's that what they have, or what they can have, exceeds what they feel that they need. Okay, and so you have to have that underlying principle no matter what you're doing, because believe me, I've made $10 an hour, okay, and lived, had roommates and like slept on the mattress on the floor. And I've made pretty close to $1 million a year, okay? And neither of those times did the money matter, right? It didn't matter as far as feeling wealthy, right? It was more of a matter of what were my needs and what was, and I know people, right? I had some friends that owned a payday loan company, right? So this is, if you're familiar with a payday loan, guys, a payday loan company is basically, so they give you like a paycheck, like a loan until your paycheck comes, right? So what happens is, if you're behind on your bills and stuff, you get a payday loan, they charge you a ridiculous amount of interest, and you get it like 2 weeks before your paycheck comes, and then they automatically take your paycheck. Okay, so it's called a payday loan. All right, so I talked to these guys, and I'm like, man, you guys must have some low life clients, right? Some scum. You must see some shit, right? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, I mean, come on, like, who gets a payday loan? It's like, you must have like drug dealers and like fucking just stupid ass people that are in there, like, just like, that's gonna be hard. You're dealing with all these like kind of hood rats and shit. And they're like, no, actually, some of our best clients are like doctors and lawyers. And I was like, what the? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? And they're like, yeah. They this guy will drive up in his BMW, and he's making like, he's a plastic surgeon. He's making $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month. But he's got this big ass mortgage, right? And it's like $10,000 a month. He got a couple $1 million house. He's got his Ferrari. He's got he's got a bunch of credit card debt because he's just spending up all his money, and he has a gap every month where he can't make it. He can't pay all his bills. So he continually, in order to stay solvent, he has to get a payday loan from us every single month, right? Is that some crazy shit? This is the truth, right? And so again, why am I telling you this? Is because this is exactly like, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, okay? It matters how below your means you're living for that money that you're making. So again, that's where we come back to this idea that I talked about in this title about how to stop caring about money and make more money than you need. So the answer to that is that you always have to live below your means, okay? And the utility value of money will change as your means change, right? I like to kind of pick on Warren Buffett sometimes because he's a really, really smart guy, but I have a feeling he doesn't really understand this concept because he's making a ton of money. Don't get me wrong. Like, and again, his investment advice is great. It's awesome. Okay, he's brilliant as far as investing. But I saw this article where it said that he lived in the same house that he bought like 50 years ago or so. It's just this crappy house, and he has this crappy car, and it's kind of funny about that because it's like he's living really, really frugally. Okay. And maybe he likes to, I don't know. I just use him as an example because I know that he's a billionaire who's living extremely frugally. But that kind of thinking, right? That kind of frugal thinking is what made him rich. But it's no longer necessary for the level of wealth that he's at. And so he's not really optimizing his life, in my opinion. Okay, I mean, he might say different, and maybe he has different values, and it's fine. But I believe, okay, that the key to having a healthy relationship with money in your life is that you should be using wealth to optimize your life as much as possible, right? So what does that mean? What does it mean to optimize your life? So think about it as like a resource game, right? Like, like not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft or StarCraft, or what is it, Command and Conquer. What other kind of resource games are out there? A resource management game, okay? With a resource management game, if you guys have played... In fact, how many of you guys know what I'm talking about? How many of you guys have played a resource management game? Does that make sense? Does this concept make sense to you? Give me a yes. Or tell me the name of the resource management game that you enjoy the most. By the way, while I'm waiting for you guys to answer, I'm going to give you a quick plug from our sponsor. I got a new sponsor on the channel. It's Tactical Soap Company. They've got Bond, Maverick, and Durden soap. Pretty cool. I am letting them be a sponsor because I started buying the soap and I started using it. And then I talked to the guy that owns the company. I was like, hey, he's like, really? You're using the soap? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, why would I not? It's pretty awesome. It's like, because it's got soap that's got pheromones in it. So I'm like, and some people are like, oh, John, that's crazy. Pheromones don't. It doesn't matter. It's like you're going to use soap anyway, and they're good quality smelling soaps. And I like the names. It's cool. I like the Durden. The Durden soap is my favorite. Anyway, he's got There'll be a link like in the description, and he's got some packages. Like there's a really good deal on, I think the 6-pack one is probably the best deal. But anyway, okay, so back here. Okay, so you guys said like Warcraft 2, a sort of AoE 2, Age of Empires, yep, Total War, Civilization. Okay, so for you guys that have played some of these resource management games, let's talk about like some of the strategies that make sense and what doesn't make sense. So when I started playing like Warcraft or Starcraft, I remember, I was like, oh, I should just like get all the crystals that I can, right? And so, one strategy that I would do is I try to like colonize everything. Okay, I try to like just be mining all the shit, getting all the shit, right? And then what would happen is when you do that, what you find is that you get killed. Because you need to build an army. You need to actually utilize the resources, not just acquire them, okay? And so what turns out to be also a bad strategy is where as soon as you get some crystals, as soon as you get some cash, you upgrade to the highest unit possible that takes a long time to build. Then the enemy just comes over there and kills your ass. But what turns out to be the best, okay, like the whole point of these resource management games is that you want to optimize. You want to get enough resources coming in and be building an army and utilizing those resources as much as possible to be as effective as possible, to both build your army and to acquire new resources in other areas and to have an army that you can kill other people and acquire their resources, right? So that's really the optimal strategy. Okay, so that's what money is in life for you, right? And you could call like, the use of that money, you want to use that optimally, right? So we can go back to the Starbucks here. When you're a school teacher making $20K a year, okay, your resource management, like you don't have a lot of resources, okay? So you have to manage those resources. You have to micromanage those resources very carefully. If you can save $2,000 a year and pay down some loan, or you can invest and then use that to grow more resources to be able to invest more, or maybe to invest in your education, like to figure out ways to generate more resources, it's worth doing. It's good. It's a good idea, okay? And those as much resources that you have is very important to you, okay? And making those sacrifices when you're young with a shitty job making $20K a year, okay? Foregoing the Starbucks, foregoing out with your friends, foregoing buying a new car, right? And basically saving as much money as possible and investing that money is going to benefit you 10 years down the road, okay? A huge amount. It's a good strategy, okay, so that you can use that money that you make later to enjoy life better, right? You can do the YOLO, right? Like so many millennials are doing today. A lot of 20-year-olds today, I see them at the club. I see them buying bottle service on their credit card, and I know they're not making a lot of money, okay? They have like $15 an hour jobs. And they're buying bottle service. They're spending all their money. They're like, YOLO. We got to enjoy it while we're young, man. We got to enjoy it while we're young. And so what they're doing is they're using up all those resources very, very quickly instead of utilizing the resources and accumulating the resources in order to be able to unlock the ability to accumulate more resources later in life, right? So, Thomas says all that kind of stuff doesn't even sound fun to me. Well, Thomas, it is fun. It is fun. I'll tell you, it's fun. But you know what? It's it's not. I mean, maybe it's not for everyone. But I'm just saying, like, your fun might be something different. Your fun might be, buying a lot of video games. It might be that you like to travel. Your fun might be that you like expensive cars. Your fun might be, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna. I'm just saying, like, that it doesn't have to do with like, do you like that thing, but it has to do with like, do you do you want to spend your money on the things that you want, right? You can definitely have a lot of fun with a lot of money, okay? So, but here's the thing is, right, so if you're using up those resources early on, right, doing the YOLO thing, what ends up happening is that when you hit 30 or you hit 40, okay, you're not going to be in a better position, all right? Now, on the same token, right, if you're making a lot of money, Or let's say you even take that same young person who is saving money, not eating out, not partying with the friends, not drinking the Starbucks, and saving the money and investing, do a little bit of real estate investment or something like that, improving themselves, right? And 10 years down the road, because they've done that, they've accumulated a lot of money. Now let's say they're making a six-figure income or even like a mid-six-figure income. They've got some passive income coming in. Now that behavior has to change, right? Because at some point, okay, time becomes a lot more valuable than money, right? When early on, money is more valuable than time. That's why we trade our time for it, right? I mean, that's why you get a job, okay, and you go to work. It's because anytime you go to work for someone, what you're saying is that, because it's essentially indentured servitude, right? It's slavery, okay? What you're saying is that my time is not as valuable as money. I would rather take money than have an hour. I got an hour. I can do whatever I want. I could enjoy myself in whatever way that I can for an hour. But instead, I'm going to give you my hour, and I'm going to get some money. Okay, but at some point that balance starts to shift, where money becomes more valuable, or where time becomes more valuable than money. And when that happens, what you actually want to do is you want to buy other people's time, right? So everyone that's against capitalism and thinks that capitalism, that all these people are these rich people are selfish, greedy assholes, you're just misunderstanding the value proposition, okay? The thing is that when you acquire enough money, you want to buy time, right? You don't want to spend in your time. In fact, you want to buy other people's time because it will make you money. Right, and that's the key to understand. But the same thing happens in your life, right? So you got to be smart early on. You got to be conservative with your finances early on. You got to invest early on. You got to save money when it makes sense, okay, and invest and be frugal. But eventually, you have to realize that the time value, that utility value of money, drastically changes, right? So I could take my own life and I could give you examples, but I did a video a while back talking about finally buying like a BMW, like a $70,000 car, right? A new $70,000 car. And the thing about that is a lot of people would say, well, John, dude, like you're preaching to us to be frugal and all this, like, and I mean, you were driving like a 15-year-old car or whatever, and now you're doing this, like, what's going on? And the answer is it's so inconsequential. Like dropping 70 grand on a car doesn't change my lifestyle one bit. Doesn't change my future earnings or anything. Like at the point that I'm at. For you, that might be a shit ton of money, right? But I'm not going to buy a $500,000 car. That will make a big dent, right? I could afford it maybe, but I would have to. It would sacrifice my future. It would be not a good choice of the resources, right? So if we go back again to the two viewpoints, right? The Ramit Sethi and the Dave Ramsey. Like I said, both of them are wrong, but both of them are right? It just depends on where you're at, right? And where that utility value of money is, right? If a little bit of money saved isn't going to make much of a difference if you're making a lot of money. But if you're not making a lot of money, even saving a little bit of money is going to be the thing that could get you out of the hole and get you in a place where you can make a lot of money later down the road. But like I said, equally, the Warren Buffett trap is the whole idea that like once you start making money, you need to start spending money. Because if we go back full circle, right, when I talked about the resource management game, is that life is a big resource management game, right? If you just accumulate, but you don't spend, you're not maximizing the value of the work that you're putting in. So what is the point of working and trying to make all this money, hustle, okay, and investing and doing all this stuff if you're not enjoying the money that you're making? You have to utilize that in your life to get the maximum value out of it. The trick is to optimize it such that you make enough sacrifice that the sacrifice years and the sacrifice time that you sacrifice to make money and to increase your earning potential is worth it for the increased money that you'll make, so that you can maximize the usage of that later. Does that make sense, right? Like there's a lot of errors that you could make. One error that you can make is that you could be too damn frugal for too damn long and spend so much time investing. And that's what most people do in life, right? If you look at the regular path of life, right? Do I have MJ DeMarco's? There's a real good book. Hold on. So Millionaire Fastlane, MJ DeMarco, right? A great guy. I had him on the channel. I got to get him back on the channel. I need to do like a conference with him or something like that. But anyway, he's got another book called Unscripted. But if you look at the, by the way, have you guys read this book? Give me a shout out here. Give me an MJ in here if you've read this book. If not, go read it now. Seriously. But here's the thing, okay? If you look at the regular kind of scripted version of life, right? The way that most people do. Okay, good. A lot of guys have read it. What most people do is they go to school, they go to college, they get a job, right, with their college degree. They put all their money in their 401k and save their money, okay? And then what they're doing is they're hoping that by the time that they become 65, that they have enough money to retire and they can finally enjoy their life and enjoy all this work that they put in. So they're putting in work from like 20 to 65, 45 years worth of work, okay? Saving all that money, not having fun. I mean, having a little bit of fun, but not having the kind of fun that I have, okay? They're not having fun, all right? And then when they hit 65, they're like, okay, now I'm going to travel the world and cruise and shit. And then half of them die from heart attacks and you know, they don't actually get to enjoy that, or they get cancer and then they have to spend all their money in 2 years. Okay, so that's what most people do, is they're too damn frugal, right? Like if they're walking what MJ would call, okay, the slow lane. Okay, it's a good terminology he has here. Okay, now. You've got other people, okay, and I know these people, right, where they're making a shit ton of money, and they're making plenty of money, okay, and you know, and it's a very similar thing, right, and they could have left the rat race, they could have, like, and they just act really frugal, even though they've got the money, right? They also are making a mistake, right? You know, again, the Warren Buffett example is the one that I have for that. Again, I don't have anything against the guy, he's a brilliant guy, he's way smarter than me in investing, but I feel like, you know, he could really be like maximizing the value of that money a lot more. Like he could be utilizing it to enjoy his life a lot more than he does. And maybe, you know, I can't make a judgment of how someone enjoys their life. I'm just saying, like if I had that kind of money, I would be using it in a lot different way, and it wouldn't make a difference, right? So except that you'd be maximizing utility value of money. But then you've got other people, right? And this would be what MJ calls the sidewalkers. Okay, and these are the people that they're not doing anything smart at all. As soon as they get money, they spend it. They spend money before they have it. Okay, and they're just like trying to maximize, you know, the utility value of that short amount of money that they have, the small amount that they have at that exact time, and that never allows them to get any real money, because you gotta have money, you gotta make money, have money to make money, right? You gotta invest that money. That's the best way to make money. And so they're just spending. Those are the young kids that don't have any money. They're buying bottled service at the clubs and, you know, buying new cars and all this shit before they've got the money. Okay, so what you want to do is you don't want to be either one of those extremes. What you want to do is you want to start out being very, very frugal. Okay, and you want to find the right number of years and put in the right amount of effort, so that as your wealth increases, okay, your lifestyle increases as well. See, a lot of people say don't let your lifestyle increase as your wealth increases. They're wrong. What you need to do is start with your lifestyle being below your income, well below it, living below your means. But as your means increase, your lifestyle should increase as well. Your means should be increasing at a rate of, let's say, 2x, but your lifestyle should only be increasing at a 1x, right? So your means might be here, okay, and your lifestyle might be here, right? And as your life gets closer to the end, or to the the probability of the end, then your lifestyle should be increasing at a more exponential rate, right? At the beginning, they're flip-flopped. That's ideal. Okay, you want to be able to make it so that you can get as far into the building wealth as possible, but have as much time as possible to use that wealth. That's the optimal. That's optimally using your life. Okay, and then again, like I said, the underlying principle behind all of that is still this idea that you have to need less in order to be wealthy, right? And so it also says that, even though you're doing this, even though you're smart enough to maximize the wealth that you make, you don't need it. Like, you can be happy and satisfied, right? And that's the other thing is, like, because if you can't be satisfied with less, right? I mean, if you can't be satisfied with sleeping on a mattress on the floor and just having basic food to eat and just be happy just working and living your life, if that's not enough happiness for you just there, then you're not going to enjoy more. You're not going to have the capacity. If you're happy with that, with the very, very basics and necessities of life, then you will actually be able to enjoy the wealth that you're able to create in your life and that money that you're able to spend, because you won't be worried about losing it, because you won't be on that hedonistic treadmill, if that makes sense, right? You can only enjoy the things that you don't expect. Okay? If you expect something, you can't enjoy it. You can. That's why surprises are so pleasant to us, right? When they're good surprises. So, okay. So I'm going to answer some questions about this. So if you guys have some questions, if you use the super chat, I will be much more likely to notice your question and answer your question if I get too many questions, or if you do the membership as well. Not necessary, but if you want to, that's just letting you guys know that I've got that option there. Okay, so let me see. Sir Harsh Amur says, John, is it true that you were super productive for 2 to 3 years during your time at Pluralsight and made enough ways to earn passive income for the rest of your life? So that's a good question, and the answer is yes. So technically, after I spent about 2 to 3 years of my life, maybe about 3 years, we'd say, where I worked really, really hard, and I set myself up so that I would not have to work another day in my life. Okay? Now, am I doing that? No. Okay? But what I'm saying is that if you work really, really hard for let's say a 5-year period, you can set yourself up to enjoy the rest of your life maximally. Okay, but I'm talking really, really hard, and there has to be a little bit of luck involved in that, right? I mean, I could work really, really hard, but I needed the Pluralsight opportunity in order for me to do that. But my point is that, like, anyone that that's wealthy, you're going to find that they went through a period of time where they worked really, really hard, where they buckled down. I don't know anyone that didn't have a grind period, a very large grind period in their life. So yes. So I did do that, and but I still work. I still am doing, because your life will not be fulfilling if you just work and then stop working. Like you have to have a purpose, and it changes, right? Motives change, right? I still make money. I still like to make money. Making money is great, but my primary motive is about doing something that is fulfilling to me and purposeful in my life, improving myself, improving other people, and sharing that knowledge. So that's really what's important now. So good question though. But yeah, it is a totally possible thing, and it also demonstrates, right? Like, I know people that have had similar circumstances as me, not exact ones, and they like I don't work as hard as I did during those 2 to 3 years. That was insanity. Now, I go through bouts of time where I do work, fairly hard, but I'm never doing that shit again. Okay, I did that for a reason. Okay, but I know people who have been stuck in that mode for years and years, and it's like, why are you doing this? And they're just chasing something that they can never have, because they're just trying to accumulate. They're just trying to see how far they can rack up the score, but they're not ever using any of the points that they're scoring. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's a trap that we can fall into. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else got a question that Dominique Gaines says, John, thank you for the channel. Simple program was awesome, but I can truly apply this channel to all the walks of my life. Awesome, cool. All right. Oh, Thomas has a good question here. What are your thoughts on Gary Vee? I like the guy. I like he's an example though of personal branding more so than actual like business acumen and marketing sense, if that makes sense, right? Like you can build a business on your brand, on your personal brand, which he has basically done. Even though he's got the Vaynerchuk Media, it is completely all of his clientele, everything is built off of what he does on his personal brand. I mean, he's got the hustle, and he's got I don't know if he's another one that I would say is not really using the utility value of his money. It'll be interesting to see what happens, okay? Because he says that he loves doing this, and you should wake up every day and do something that you love, and he loves this, and everything seems to point to that. But I mean, you'll eventually hate the thing that you love. It's true. So I don't know where he is on that spectrum. I mean, it's very possible that he's in a very deep level of self-delusion and he doesn't actually love it, but he's so far committed to saying that he's got to stick with that. And that would be a really bad place. I've been there. That's why I would say that's a bad place to be. But I don't know. I think I like him. I think he's legit. I think that he really does enjoy and get pumped up doing this. The other thing too I think about with him is that like he's working all the time. He's hustling, but he's reached the point where he can have the camera crew following him around and everything, and he can just do what he considers to be the fun thing, which is just talking to people and just doing that aspect of it. So that may change things, but I like him. I think his message is overall good, and I like his message better than most people's. Right? Like it's better to tell people to work too hard than it is than to be lazy or to not work as hard. To not work as hard is a stupid message. That's just a dumbass message. The thing is, like, people are like, oh well, no one on their deathbed says I wish I would have worked harder. Fucking bullshit. That is bullshit, because the thing that brings you the most fulfillment in life is accomplishing shit. At least for men. I can't really speak for women. Maybe it's more relationship and connection driven, and not that men don't need connections and relationships as well, but as a man, the thing that makes you feel the most fulfilled in life, the most that you are winning life, that you are serving your purpose in life, is when you are getting shit done. That's like, so it's better to work too hard than to be lazy. So okay, let me see what we have here. And Thomas says, do you agree with constantly working insanely hard if you're trying to achieve something legendary such as Gary Vee? Of course, yes, you have to. No, you're not going to achieve anything great in life without a great effort. If you want extraordinary, you have to work extraordinarily hard. You have there's no way around it. Another person that is really good to listen to is, now I'm going to forget his name. The founder of Quest, CEO of Quest. I've had him on the channel. In fact, I'm blanking his name right now. You guys know who I'm talking about, though. Someone will drop it in the chat. Okay. Let's see. Shooter Wiz gets his kicks off beating to hentai. Okay. Yeah, Tom Bilyeu. Okay, so that's gotta stop it. Stop it with the porn. In fact, cartoon porn. Come on, man. Let's cut that shit out. That's just my honest truth. No judgment. I mean, do what you want, but I don't know about that, man. Like, you need to cut that shit out. Start working. All right. Let's see. John, I just signed up for the Bulldog membership, and I want to know if I'll be receiving emails and video every day on how to become a fucking Bulldog. Not every day. I'll have some. I'm working on, like, to let you guys that are here this long on the chat. I'm working on a membership program. I just opened it up to a few people that were early into it. I will announce it more, but through there, that's the best way to find out about it. And I've got, like I said, this video training that I did here. It's like a 4-day video training about how to develop the Bulldog mindset. So, or actually, really how to increase your score on those questions that are in that quiz. So, Living Bean wants to know if I ever considered opening my own gym. It's a little off topic, but I'll answer this one. Yes, I would like to, but it would not be a gym. What I'm going to do at some point is open up like the mecca of self-development, personal development, probably focused at guys where you'll come down, we'll train, we'll kick ass, we'll spar, we'll lift weights, we'll run, we'll overcome our fears, we'll do all kinds of crazy shit, and just like, it'll be cool. So I want to like create like this kind of facility. So, all right. So what do we got here? All right, Future Wiz says it's all good. All right, Future Wiz. Yeah, no, you're good. You've got a good plan here. Working hard on software dev, get that passive income so I can live your life on your own terms. I like it. Good. All right. Okay, here, and Thomas has another follow-up question. In your opinion, is that amount of work worth it to go down in history? No, not to go down in history. Fuck history. It doesn't matter. What does it matter if you go down in history? You don't get to appreciate that shit. You're not going to know if you went down in history. It's kind of like life insurance. It's to me, it's worthless because who knows what happens after this? But I certainly am not going to care. Yeah, you know what I mean? And you're not going to care either. So don't do it to go down in history. Do it because it will bring you fulfillment. Do it because it's what you're made to do. Do it because it is the highest form of being that you could become. Do it because you want to maximize your potential in life. Do it because you don't want to tell God, right, whether you believe in God or not, at the end of your life, you don't want to be like, yeah, you know, I did all right. I like you gave me life and gave me all this opportunity, and you know, I did all right. Like, you want to be like, fuck, I took every opportunity. I did everything that I could. I kicked ass, motherfucker. All right, that's what you want to be able to say, because you know, it like you have an opportunity, you have a life. Like, why would you not max it? It's short. It's temporal. Like, gosh, you should be making the most of it as much as you can. That's why to do it. All right. What do we got here? Let's see. Do I plan on doing another interview with Marshall Silver? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. I'm looking for any questions. I'm going to probably wrap this up pretty soon here, guys. But if you have a question related to what we talked about today, about finances and building wealth and the utility value of money, let me know. I'm kind of sick, so that's why I'm staying in on Saturday. And okay, let me see here. Here's a financial type of question. FCC 13, high income, $500K plus per year, and invest in real estate or pursue entrepreneurship. Which one would you do? Great question. Okay, I love this question. Why? Okay, so I can answer this question because I am, you know, that's basically is me, right? So what do I do? You know, I make, you know, pretty close to about $1 million a year, and you know, do I invest in real estate or entrepreneurship? Well, you already know the answer, right? I do both. Okay, now why? Now how? And I'll tell you, I know a lot of millionaires and multimillionaires, and a few billionaires. Okay, and they all do the same thing I'm doing, to some degree, right? Same basic strategy, which is this. Is you make money, okay? You take that money and you have businesses, right? The best investment that you can make with your money and your time is entrepreneurship, because you're going to make a lot more money, all right? So, you know, again, this is something that MJ DeMarco talks about, and his strategy is the same as mine, okay? Because you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get rich saving up money in your 401k in a regular job. You're not going to get rich investing in real estate as a passive investment either. Not going to happen. It's going to take a long time. Like, you can get rich in a long, long time. Okay? But you will get rich by entrepreneurship, by building businesses. That's pretty much the only way that you're actually going to get rich in any short amount of time. And probably online business with the way. I mean, you could do it other ways, but today online business, and that's what MJ recommends. So entrepreneurship is number one, okay? But here's the thing about entrepreneurship and businesses, okay? In fact, I just saw this guy that's like a merger and acquisitions guy, and he says, no one makes money running businesses. They make money buying and selling businesses. And that's to some degree true, right? It's like, it's not 100% true because you can make money running businesses, but you're really building an asset when you're building a business. And the problem with a business is even a business that is like, okay, remember Jim Collins' book, Good to Great? You guys read that? Let me get go ahead and throw a yes in the chat if you have read Jim Collins' Good to Great, or even if you're aware of the book. So in that book, he talks about, basically really successful Fortune 500 companies and whatnot. Okay, so a lot of the companies he talks about in that book have failed. Now, the concept of that book was companies that don't fail. Okay, now you're going to say, well, isn't that hypocritical? Isn't that bullshit then what he's talking about? No. The thing is this, right? Jeff Bezos just said, maybe 2 months ago, he's like, oh yeah, Amazon will eventually fail. Our job is to keep it going as long as possible. It's probably going to fail. Okay? So why? What is the thing about this? It's that if you have a product, if you have a business, whatever, it cannot last forever. And it's not passive. It requires work. And it eventually will fail. Okay? But the key is to pump as much money out of that business as you can. There's actually a really good book by what is the name of that book? I can't think of the name of it now. Oh, Profit First, and it is by, I can't think of his name now, but he also wrote a book called The Pumpkin Plan, and a new one that I reviewed called The Clockwork Business, or Clockwork. It's called Clockwork. Okay, but profit first. Okay, there's a reason why you pay yourself first is because you need to get money out of that business. Mike Michaelwitz. Yeah, thank you, Jose. So here's the thing, okay, is that you got to take that money from the business, and because businesses don't last forever, and where are you going to put it? You got to put it in something like real estate, okay, because real estate does last forever, and it gives you a return, okay, and it gives you a solid return, and you can get, if you, pretty much, right, I'm not going to go into all the details of how this works with real estate, okay, but you should be able to get a 10% return on your money easily. In real estate, easily. 20-30% is not unheard of with secure investments in real estate, okay? If something has a cap rate of 7% or 8%, it doesn't mean that your IRR, your irrespective rate of return, is that. Your IRR could be much higher. It could be 15, 20, 25, 30%, okay, even with smaller cap rates, because of a lot of the benefits of real estate, of the leverage with appreciation, the depreciation. Okay, the principal pay down on the leveraged asset. There's a lot of reasons why. Okay, what's up, Michael? So what you want to do if you're making a lot of money, to get back to the question. Okay, you're making $500,000 plus a year. Good. What you need to do is this. Okay, and this is what if you want coaching, you can go to bulldogmindset.com /coaching and go check that out, because I'm coaching several people on this exact problem that you presented here, and this is but I'll give you the basics of it right here for free, because I don't care. Like, if you want to sign up for it, it's great. I can give you one-on-one work, but if not, let's just talk about what we need to do. Okay, what you need to do is you need to be buying real estate right now, okay, and at the same time building your business. Okay, so if you're making a lot of money, you could take a shortcut into business, and you could buy an existing business and grow that business. Okay, I would probably say, start a business on your own, even if it's not going to make a lot of money at first, just so you can get the experience of it. But you may be able to accelerate the growth of the business using money. Okay, that's a possibility. Just don't burn too much money doing that. But you need to be buying real estate now so that you can be benefiting from that long-term appreciation and that compounding effect of that investment. And also, as you get successful in your business, you're going to need to take that money and you're going to put it somewhere. You're going to need to know how to invest in real estate in order to do that, right? And then what ends up happening is this. Okay, remember, this ties all right back into what I was saying about. Remember earlier in this talk, I talked about the difference between like your wealth and your lifestyle, right? And I said that your wealth, like the money that you're making, should be growing at like a 2x factor for most of your life, and your lifestyle should be increasing like at a 1x factor, right? But as the money that you make increases, your lifestyle should increase as well. It should grow with it. Okay, that's the utility value of money. Well, you want to know a perfect way to do that? Here's a perfect way to do that. Okay, so you start here. Okay, you're making some money. Okay, now you take that money, you build a business. Okay, you invest in a business. Okay, you take the money that you're making from the business, okay, you invest it in real estate, okay. Now, you take the money that you're making from real estate, from passive income, only the passive income you make from real estate, profit, and you live off of that. It'll take some time to start the cycle going, but once you get into that cycle, and that's where I'm at, okay, I live off of the money I make passively from real estate, then as you make more money from your business, okay, and you have more money, and your real estate holdings grow and your passive income from your real estate grows, guess what happens automatically? Your lifestyle grows. Now you get to the point where you're like, well, shit, how am I going to spend $15,000 this month? And you got to think of ways to do it because it doesn't hurt you at all. That's the money that comes back every single month. It doesn't hurt you at all. I'm not saying that you should just blow money and waste money. I'm just saying that's giving you a perfect guideline for how your lifestyle should increase, and you're never going to go broke, and you're never going to spend too much money, and you'll be able to maximize the utility value of your money, and your wealth will only continue to grow while you're doing this. This sounds like the perfect scenario, right? It is, because a lot of people time this shit wrong. Even people that make really successful businesses. I know a ton of entrepreneurs that had like, tens to $100 million businesses, and they lost it all, and they lost all the money, and they spent all the money, and they don't have shit to show for it, okay? And it's because they didn't know what to do. Some of them pumped all their money back into the business. And like I said about businesses failing, the problem with that is that if you don't pull profit out, and you pump the money back into the business, and then eventually that business fails, which it can, and this happens a lot of times when you have employees and you have staff. Like, I know so many software developers that started consulting agencies. They were making a lot of money as a consultant, and they started agencies, and they hired on like 20 developers, and they had contracts, and they were like, dude, I would go to Panera Bread, and I'd be having a meeting with them, and they'd be like, oh, dude, I made like $1 million last year. And I'm like, good. I hope you're investing that shit. And they're like, oh, don't worry, dude. Like, it's crazy. We're just going to keep on growing. I'm just hiring more people. I got so many contracts, I can't even keep it staffed. Okay, then 6 months later, they're like, dude. And I'm like, well, dude, what? And they're like, do you know what happened? Like, I lost it all, man. I lost it all. Like, and I'm like, what happened to the $1 million you made last year? Like, well, what happened was I lost my big contract. It was 80% of our revenue. This big company cut it. So I didn't want to cut the staff because I worked so hard to grow it. So I tried to get some more clients, and I couldn't get the clients, and I couldn't make payroll. So I'm a nice guy. I don't want to like cut these people, and I have to rehire them again. So I had that $1 million in the bank. So I took like $500,000 and I paid payroll for a couple of months, and then I still couldn't make payroll, right? And so they take all the money that they had saved and all this money they made, and they put it right back into the business trying to make payroll, and they're not even making any money. So no good. You have to do it the way that I'm prescribing. And I'm telling you, every single successful millionaire, decamillionaire, billionaire that I know, when I discuss finances with them, we have the same exact thing. We're all doing the same thing, for the most part, right? When I had MJ DeMarco on my YouTube channel, and I said, well, what are you doing, man? And he's not investing in real estate. He's got CDs. Well, not CDs. He's got, I think he's doing mostly like municipal bonds and stuff like that. That yield like 4 or 5% or so. But it's the same basic strategy, right? Instead of real estate, he's got something very, very stable that generates passive income, and he lives off of that passive income, right? I would recommend real estate because it's way better than any other option. I've got a video on my channel on that I released recently. But does that answer your question? I hope that does. Yep. Terrible T says, yes, always take profit out. Don't expect it to always be there. Very, very, very true. Okay. All right, I am thinking probably one more question. Relate to finances, relate to something I said here. Let's see. Okay, well, maybe I'll give two here. So Terrible T has been asking, how does an old, tired guy get back into the entrepreneur game when he has only 20 hours a week? Asking for a friend, Winky. Okay. Oh, and then there's... Okay, so you guys got some good questions. Remind me, Jose, I'm going to answer your question too. Pay debt first or invest in real estate. Okay, so 20 hours a week is plenty of time. And you I'm trying to think, like, you have 20 hours a week, so that's 2 hours, 5 days a week. Dude, you got more than 20 hours a week. You got 40. You can milk 40 out of there, right? So let's say that you wake up 2 hours before, or you're 2 hours early every morning before you have to go to work, and you spend 2 hours on your business doing entrepreneurship stuff before you do your 8-hour day. Okay, 5 days a week. That's that. Oh, hold on. Oh, I see. So that's 10 hours. Okay. And then let's say when you get home from work, right, you spend another hour or 2 hours at night working. Okay. So that would give you 20 hours right there. And then let's say that you spend 10 hours on Saturday and 10 hours Sunday. That's 40 hours. And you might say, well, that's that's pretty crazy, John. Yep. But I did it for 3 years. I did that for 3 years. And that's what it took, and it was crazy, and it sucked balls. But even if you have 30 hours, it's fine. Even if you only had 20 hours, that's fine, right? You just got to maximize the time that you're using. You know, Alex Becker has some really good stuff. I don't know if you guys follow Alex Becker. I like his stuff. His latest videos is basically saying one thing. He's very obsessed with Sam Ovens. I like Sam Ovens as well. I think I do. I'm not entirely sure if Sam is like the smartest charlatan ever, because he's actually like telling you the opposite of what every other charlatan is doing and calling them charlatans. So he's like the mega, or if he's just like a legit straight down to earth, like just the smartest businessman ever. He's either one of the others. He's either like the hidden Ty Lopez, like that everyone thinks Ty Lopez is a scammer, but really Sam Ovens is the guy pulling the strings, like some kind of like really what do you call it? Conspiracy theory, like shit here, or he's like super legit. Either way, I like what he's saying. And Alex Becker is become a disciple of his, and Alex has some videos talking about utilizing your time very, very effectively. He said that the reason why he's rich, the reason why he makes a lot of money, is because most people, like, they have 8 hours in a day to work, and they work like 1 hour unfocused, something like that. And he's like, when I work 8 hours in a day, I turn off everything and I just fucking work for 8 hours. I don't have social media, don't have any kind of that shit, no distraction, just fucking work. So it's the same thing here. It's like, even if you have 20 hours a week, you can make it work. I coach plenty of people that we're building them, businesses that generate a couple $1,000s of passive income every month, and non-passive income, just by working 20 hours a week, right? Just putting in that time. So you can definitely do it for sure. You just got to work very focused when you're working. Now, I've got a video on my channel. Search for how I plan my week, and I use Kanban flow, and I use very specific process with Pomodoro technique in order to it's maximizing that time. Okay, and it's also, the other thing I'd say is don't switch focus. Okay, go pick something that you're going to do and just fucking double down on that shit. Bite down on it like a fucking bulldog and grind it out for a minimum of 2 to 3 years. Maybe even 5 years. Don't expect to see any results until the end of year 2. That's just, and that's most people don't make it because they can't do that, because they're like, fuck, it's not working. And like, well, yeah, you don't get to find out until after year 2 if it's working. You should have some traction after year 2. If you don't, then it's probably not working. But most things will work. It's just that you're not adapting and figuring out how to make it work, right? So people are like, oh, this idea must be shit, it doesn't work. No. How do you make it work? Okay? There's a lot of people that have gotten very rich by figuring out how to make some shit work, right? You don't have to have a brilliant idea. You don't have to have all the resources. You just have to say, okay, well, if you only could sell paper clips, okay, let's say you only had paper clips. That's it. You're Kevin Mitnick. You can't touch computers. You can only sell fucking paper clips. That's all that you have access to. How are you going to make that work? You can make $1 million. There's millionaires, paperclip millionaires. Okay, I guarantee you. There's multiple ones of them. So how would you make that work? You can make it work. You can figure out a way to make that shit work, right? That's what it comes down to. I don't know who's a paperclip million. Someone who owns a fucking paperclip company. I'm sure they're worth $1 million. Go look it up. I'm just saying. There's toilet paper millionaires. Okay. There's whatever kind of bullshit like unattractive commodity that you have, right? There's fucking people who make $1 million making fucking USB cables. I'm sure of it. So, people are buying this shit, right? All right, let's talk about, let's see, whose question was I going to answer here? Okay, there's a few things. Oh, I want to answer this one real quick. Thomas says, thoughts on waiting for a market crash to buy real estate versus buying now? No, buy now. Always buy now. There's a lot of reasons why. One of them, which is popular in investing, like in stock market investing, is called dollar cost averaging. Okay, do not try to time markets. And here's the thing: if you want to speculate, wait for the market crash. Okay, if you want to invest, there's no time. A deal is always a good deal. Okay, an investment is always a good investment. Investing means taking money, okay, and putting it somewhere where you have not a hopeful return, but an expected return. Okay, if I take money, okay, and I put it and I buy a dividend yielding stock. This is a good example of investing. And I buy the stock to get the dividend. I've invested in that company because that company has said, if you give me this money, I will pay you this amount. Another example would be a bond, right? A bond is an investment. Why? Because you're loaning money. You're saying, I'm funding this operation you're doing, and this is the return that I expect on this. And they're agreeing to the return. It's an investment. You're not speculating anything. You just want your 6%. That's it. Okay? That's how an investment works. Now, the beauty of real estate is that you buy an investment, but you get a bonus speculation on top of it, right? You get a bonus. So they give you a bonus. You buy the investment, and then they say, and here you go. Here's a lottery ticket for you. Okay? And it could go up, and you could make extra money on the appreciation, but you don't count on that. And that's why you don't wait for the market, okay? It's yes, if the market crashes and you buy things for cheap, then it's more likely they're going to go up, but it may also go down further. You cannot predict the market, and investing doesn't work that way, and you're going to waste time. Because the market might not crash for another 10 years. It may go up way, way high. So it's ridiculous to try and time the market. Just buy now. And I've bought, okay, just so you guys know, I bought in 2007, okay? In like the worst time. I bought at the very peak of the housing bubble, okay? And I just sold one of those properties now, and I made like what was it, like 250, like 70 grand on it. It's like my return is like somewhere in the like 40%, 50% return, I think, on it. Maybe even more, actually, when you count all the benefits and stuff. Okay, so it didn't matter because it was an investment. All right. So, all right. Let me see here. All right. What do we got here? There was a question I was going to answer on. Jose had a question. I can't remember what it was now. Okay, here we go. Okay, versus paying off debt versus investing. Okay, and then there was another question I had to. Oh yeah, pay debt first or invest in real estate. Okay, let me answer this one, and then I'm going to answer the best way to invest $100. Okay, so Jose wants to know, pay debt first or invest in real estate? Is there a perfect balance of paying off debt and investing, or should you only focus on one? Real simple. This is a real simple one for you, okay? Where will you get the higher return? And that's what you do. So let me give an example. Suppose you have a credit card, all right? and you owe money on that credit card, and the interest rate on that money is 12%. Okay, you're paying 12% interest. And suppose you can buy a piece of real estate, okay, to invest in, right? You can either pay off the credit card or you can buy a piece of real estate, and that real estate has a 10% cap rate. When you run all the numbers, you're like, I'm going to make a 10% return on my money. Which one do you do? You pay off the credit card because it's a 12%. Because it doesn't matter whether you save interest that you pay or you make interest. So here's the better way of thinking of this, okay? And this will make this so you'll never have to make this stupid decision again or question this, because I'm going to equalize it. If you have a debt, and that debt has an interest rate attached to it, which it does, whatever that interest rate is it's like having a bank account where you're guaranteed a return. It's the safest investment you can make. Debt is the safest investment you can make. Why? Because let's suppose I have $10,000 and I have $10,000 in debt. Or let's say I have $50,000 I owe. And I owe 12% interest rate on that $50,000. If I take $10,000 and I pay that debt down, so it's $40,000, that $10,000 that I invested in my debt, I get a 12% return on. Guaranteed. Why? Because instead of paying interest on $50,000, I'll pay interest on $40,000. So $10,000 I won't pay 12% interest on. Same thing as making 12% interest on that money. So that should pretty much answer your question. Does that make sense, guys? Like, does that answer your question? Because that's as straightforward as I can make it, and you should always make that decision, regardless of what Dave Ramsey says. Paying off the smaller debts first, bullshit. He says that because he thinks you're idiots. Okay, and granted, most of the population's idiots, but I'm telling you what makes the most mathematical, logical sense to make the most money, right? I'm assuming you have self-control. Okay, he's giving you advice saying, cut up the credit cards and pay off the smallest loans first so you feel like you're making progress. Okay, but I'm assuming you have self-control. because you got to have self-control anyway. Because you know what? If you do shit that relies on you not having self-control as a strategy, you're going to be fucked anyway. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how much you save. You're going to be back in debt. You have to learn self-control. So you have to do the optimal strategy and force yourself to do it. That's the way that makes the most sense. It's like people that are doing Weight Watchers diets, or anytime the number one way I know that someone is going to fail on their diet is they start telling me all these cool recipes they made of low carb shit or low calorie shit and how they made cheesecake that's low calorie. They're going to fail. You know why? Because it's supposed to be fucking hard. Because you're trying to cheat the system. You're trying to find a way that you can have the benefit without the pain. It doesn't work. You have to have self-control. That's the whole point. Okay? Not saying that I have perfect self-control all the time, but I'm just saying that that's the number one. I guarantee you, as soon as someone sends me their fucking cheesecake recipe and they're like, oh, look, it's only 1,000 calories and it tastes delicious, and they're spending all this time trying to make these delicious low-calorie recipes, they're fucked. They're fucked. Because I know that they're trying to avoid the thing the painful thing. And that's instead of just accepting it. Exactly. Living beings got it here. Step 1, self-control. Step 2, accept the pain. All right. So, now I'll answer that question. Okay. So real quick on the index funds. All right. Because General Cure said, what about index funds? They are 100% passive, unlike real estate. Real estate can be pretty damn close to passive, and there's a lot of ways. Check out the video. I did a video on the best ways to invest in 2019. Check out that video, okay? And I go over all of that. The thing is that index funds, S&P 500, like if you do an index fund, a low load, basically like almost no fees, okay? It's decent. You'll probably yield 6 to 7%. But the short answer to this is this. This is the problem with it, okay? is that you're going to pay capital gains taxes on the money you make. And yes, you may only pay long-term capital gains taxes, but for someone making a lot of money, that's going to be 30 or 40%, okay? Especially if you live in California. Even if you're not making a lot of money, that's still, you're paying capital gains. So if your return was 7% after capital gains, maybe you're only making an effective return of 5%, okay? And the problem is you're not compounding on that. So let's say your effective return is 5%, or even, I'll give you 6, okay? If you buy even just shitty real estate, right? Like even with a cap rate of 6%, okay? And you can buy real estate with a cap rate of 6% that is basically passive as fuck. That is like commercial real estate with national tenants, triple net leases, okay? If you're just getting a 6% cap rate on that, okay, one, you'll be leveraged, okay? So you can be leveraged about 4x, let's say, if you put 25% down. So you can be leveraged 4x on the money, which means that you're going to get to 6%, okay? But on top of the 6%, you're going to get the appreciation, but the appreciation is going to be multiplied by 4, okay? So let's say you got, like, let's be really conservative and say you got 1% appreciation per year. You're getting 4% extra return. So now your 6% became 10%. Now you're going to get depreciation, okay? So that's going to make a lot of that income that you make untaxable or non-taxable. It's deferred taxation, okay? So that's going to give you another, let's say 2%. So now you're at 12% return on your money, like we're talking IRR here, okay? And on top of that, you're going to have a principal pay down on your loan. So that'll give you another, like, let's say 1 or 2% on there. So now you're making like 13% on your money. Let's say we'll be really conservative there. And then you're going to do a 1031 exchange. When you sell the property, you're never going to actually pay taxes on the property. You're going to keep on rolling it forward in 1031 exchanges and just get the cash flow from it. And so what will happen is that you're not going to pay any capital gains taxes ever on the property. So you're going to get a pure 13% return minimum. This is a very, very conservative estimate. It could be much, much higher. Whereas if you do an S&P 500 index fund, you're going to get maybe a 6 or 7%, maybe an 8% return, but you're going to pay capital gains taxes, which is going to reduce it down to 6% or 5% or less. That is if you don't, pick a shitty time to enter the market and they get fucked and lose everything. But that risk doesn't really exist very much with the real estate because you have insurance and stuff. So anyway, does that make sense? Okay. Let's see here. There was a question of how the best way to invest $100. And I like this question because I can give you a real simple, straightforward answer to this question. Zero, nothing. Don't invest it. Why? Why not invest $100? Here's why. The time it takes you to figure out where to invest $100 will cost you more than $100. Okay? So here's the thing. All right? Investing takes time, right? I'm buying a commercial real estate building right now, about $3.5 million. I've spent at least 15 or 20 hours on this deal, maybe more. By the time I'm all done, it might be like at least 20 hours on the deal, maybe 30 hours on the deal, okay? But I'm trying to invest about $600,000-$700,000. Okay, so I'm wasting a lot of my time. Like, I mean, when I coach, I charge like $2,000 an hour. So I'm spending a shit ton of money essentially just to find the deal, just to invest the money. Now, again, there's some things that you can invest in easier and it doesn't require as much, but I'm just saying, like, be wary that anytime that you invest money, it has to be worth the time of that you're going to invest in making the investment. So trying to figure out how to make $100 and make money for is a waste of time. Again, I'm gonna point back to this book because MJ DeMarco actually had a really good thing that he said about this. He's got a chart in this book. Let me see if I can find the chart. It's a pretty good chart on. Yeah, okay. And he's got a couple of them, but I think this might be the one that I'm thinking of. Okay. He's got a chart about compounding interest. He's got this little thing of $10,000 investment. Okay. And you guys can't read that, but anyway, get the book if you haven't already. But essentially, it comes down to this, and I believe the same thing that he said, which is that, like, compounding interest is bullshit. Unless you have enough money. Okay, when you have $100,000, you're getting compounding interest on that. Okay, that'll add up, pretty quick. In 10 to 20 years, it'll be worth a lot of money if you're getting a decent interest rate. If you have $10,000, you're getting compound interest. You know how long it's going to take before it's even a worthwhile amount of money? It's so fucking ridiculous. So ridiculous before you even get to the 100,000 mark, right? So he basically says, in fact, really, you shouldn't even really be thinking about investing until you have at least $100,000. But really, it's not going to matter until you have like $500,000, like as far as like really making some money. Okay, so and you could lower that down a little bit, but 100 is way below the threshold, right? So basically, what MJ was saying and what I'm saying too is fuck wasting the time with small amounts of money and trying to invest that. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it, because the time that you're going to try to optimize investment and shit, it's not worth it. You're not making any money. Instead, take all that time and invest in building a business, and you'll make a lot more money than you will by that money making money for itself investing it, right? So he's saying, like, just figure out some way to make $500,000. Again, I know that's easier said than done, but yeah, if you invest all that time instead of like wasting all this time trying to invest money and figure out a way to make $500,000, now worry about investing money, because now it's going to actually matter. So hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Now, you can't really lose. Okay. How are you going to lose your money in real estate? Everyone always says, you're going to lose your money in real estate. How are you going to lose your money in real estate? I don't know how people lose their money. I do know how people lose their money in real estate, because I watch them. Okay. When I invest in real estate, keyword is invest. I've never lost my money in real estate. I've invested for 20 years in real estate. Never lost an entire investment. In fact, I've never had a negative return on an investment. Ever. No one who I know who has ever invested has ever had a negative return on their investment in real estate. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm saying that people lose their ass in real estate when they speculate. I've never gotten hurt in real estate, even during the market crash, even when I bought at the peak of the market before the bubble burst, because I was buying 30-year fixed loans, okay, and renting them out to people at rates that would cover the mortgage. How are you going to lose then? I mean, yes, a nuclear bomb could hit, okay? Then the government's probably going to bail you out. But how are you going to lose money in real estate? It does over a year you might, or 2 years, or 5 years, over 10 or 20 years. How are you going to lose money in real estate? Like everyone says, oh, there's a risk. I don't see any risk. Like the risk is so fucking small that it's insane. It's just an excuse. Everyone says that as an excuse. You're fucking afraid to invest in real estate. It's scary shit. The first fourplex I bought, I looked up at this fucking purple and yellow building with pink stripes on it, and I was like, fuck, did I just pay $250,000? Did I just write a check for like $20,000 for this? And I was scared shitless. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to lose my ass. I have a mortgage for like $200-something thousand, right? So, yeah, you're scared. It's okay. You're going to have to figure it out. You have to learn. It's okay. It's all right. But you're not going to lose. Like, again, is it possible to lose money in real estate? Of course it is. All right? But if you make a smart investment and you do your homework, you're more likely that the stock market's going to crash. You're going to lose all your fucking money. That's way more likely. Way more likely, right? And the same people sometimes, and I'm not trying to pick on you, but the same people that are like, oh, you could lose your money in real estate. I'm like, oh, what are you doing with your money right now? Like, well, I got 10 grand in Bitcoin. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You have 10 grand in Bitcoin. Good job. Oh, I made a lot of money in Bitcoin. Because of fucking luck. It's like going to the casino and being like, oh yeah, I made a ton of money at the roulette table. Like, well, what did you do? Well, I bet on number 16, and then it came up 16. I'm like, yeah, you could have just been telling me, it could have just much more easily come out as a different story where you lost all your money. You shouldn't be proud of that shit. You didn't invest in Bitcoin. You got excited. And you got crazy, and you just said, oh, here's a quick way to get rich quick. And then it actually happened. You didn't invest. You didn't like look at the market fundamentals and decide, oh, yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, you read all the hype. So The same people, and again, I'm not trying to pick on you specifically, Journal Queer, but I'm just saying that a lot of times the same people that tell me, isn't real estate risky? Can't you lose your money? They're buying Bitcoin. So it's not because it's really risky. It's because they're fucking afraid. Because there's a lot of work involved in learning how to invest in real estate. But you need to learn that skill, because that's how you're going to get actually rich. Let's see. Do you use real estate syndicates, John? Yes, I do sometimes. I'd like to form one at some point, but if I form a syndicate, will you guys invest with me if I go Grant Cardone on you guys? But no, I have a couple investments in a syndicate. I'm not. I'd rather do my own deals, just because I feel like, I don't know, there's some pros and cons to it, right? It depends on who you're doing the syndicate with and the conditions in the market and all that stuff. But it's not something I would rule out. Okay. Millionaire Fastlane, the phrase he uses is, investing should be used to preserve wealth, not build wealth. Yeah. Yes and no. Yeah, I agree. Okay, investing should be used to preserve wealth, not build. Because you will build wealth, but it'll be really, real slow. That shouldn't be your strategy for building wealth. That's what MJ DeMarco is really saying there. Even though it will build your wealth over time, it's just that it's going to be a slower moving. It's like a molasses move, but it's a powerful way to build wealth. It's just very, very slow. But that shouldn't be your strategy for building wealth. That's what he's saying. Let's see. Okay. One more financial question. It's funny, Living Being, it says, just figure out how to make $500,000, Sean Sanvez. You don't realize how easy it is to make $500,000. It's a lot easier than you think. It is, honestly. Like, it is. Limiting beliefs, right? You can do it. All right. One more financial related question. All right. That one. I saw Nate's question. I'll just answer yours. Okay. All right. Living Beans got the question, but I'll answer Nate's question real quick. I just moved out and have $2,000 saved. When do I buy rental property? I just answered this question, my friend. You don't. Not with $2,000. Too little. Get $20,000. Then buy a property. All right. So, Living Being, this will be the last question of the night. How do I make $500,000? I like this question. So, okay. So, some of you that have already signed up for the Bulldog Mindset Quiz, if you haven't already, go sign up, because these video series that I did, I had a bonus video in here, and one of those I basically talked about how to make passive income, and a lot of the things I would tell you are in there. But here's something. Okay, so let's talk about some ways. How do you make $500,000? There's a lot of ways. Okay, one of them would just be, probably the most simple and straightforward way would be to get a job making $200,000 a year, to save half of that for 5 years. And you might say, "Whoa, how could I?" Wait a minute, that's not the simplest and easiest way, John. Are you fucking crazy? Okay, there's a lot of jobs that pay $200,000 a year. Like this is the thing. You guys, very limited thinking, limiting beliefs, mindset. How many jobs out there do you think pay $200,000 a year? Okay, I know a lot of you are software developers, because I was a software developer. Okay, so there's a lot of places where software, like if you get a job at Facebook or Google or Apple, you can make $200,000 a year. Can you not? I know that the average at Facebook was like $250,000 when you include all the bonuses and options and everything, right? So that's one way. You can become a lawyer. You can become a doctor, a dentist. Okay? But okay, you're like, oh, well, that requires a lot of school. Granted. How about a salesperson? Okay? Like, Dan Locke teaches that high-ticket closing program. If you didn't sign up for that, you should have signed up for that thing. It's $2,500 to enroll in that thing. But if you can be a salesperson that sells $10,000, $20,000 products, and you can sell a few of those a month, and you're working on commission, you can make some serious money, right? A lot of salespeople that do corporate sales, they make several $100,000 a year. Okay, so that's like the career pathway. There's a lot of valuable skills. Copywriters, really experienced and valuable copywriters who know their craft really well and work with entrepreneurs who are doing multi-million-dollar businesses, make a couple $100,000 a year. Affiliate managers who do affiliate programs for entrepreneurs that are making a lot of money, make a couple $100,000 a year. Heck, my business partner and Simple Programmer made over $200,000 a year just by partnering with me. Okay. Let me see. What other ways? Okay, so that's like the career pathway. Entrepreneurial pathway to make $500,000 is even simpler. Even simpler. Okay. But it takes more time because you have to build up a business. Okay. But you can easily make a business. So you can easily make a business in 4 or 5 years that can generate you at least a couple $100,000 a month, right? My other business, my Simple Programmer business, right? Not the Bulldog Mindset, but Simple Programmer makes about $500,000 a year of business, and we could be making. I'm not even investing the time I should be into that business because I should be making like $1 or $2 million a year off of that business. In fact, I'm going to start working on that again and launch a new course on there. I've got a plan for that, but that's a way. Okay, if you work hard at at building. So here's another way to think about the same exact problem. Right, is that actually Grant Cardone has a really good book. Okay, it's a really short book. It's called The Millionaire Handbook. I don't have it in front of me, but go buy that book. It's like, I think he gives it away for free too. It's like maybe like a couple of bucks or something on Kindle. Go buy that book. It's a really short read. Okay, just read through that book really quick. And he actually does exactly what I would tell you, which is, and he runs the math. I don't have the paper here in front of me right now, but if he gives you the math for making $1 million. Okay. And so we could just divide that in half. And what he says is like, okay, well, you have to sell X number of product. Like, let's say that you had a product that you needed to sell that was $20. Okay, so you could sell, if you sell 5 of them in a day, then you make $100 a day. In 30 days, you would make $3,000, right? And then you can extrapolate from there. So he figures out how many you need. Well, what if you had a $200 thing that you could sell, or a $500 thing, or a $1,000 thing, right? If you had a $1,000 thing you could sell, right, and you just sold one per day, okay, then you'd make $365,000 a year. So I know these things, seem very not straightforward. Like it's like when I'm saying this, you're like, well, yeah, but you're not really telling us exactly how to make the money. And that's the part that no one can tell you. You have to figure that out. You got to figure out some way to create some kind of value to build something, right? And you've got examples. I mean, take a look at the example. Okay, I've made $500,000 or more in at least 5 different ways. Okay, one of them was real estate. Okay, and I'm not just talking about the long-term investment. I'm talking about, back in the day when I would hustle and buy real estate under market and make all kinds of lowball offers. I made at least $500,000 in equity from investing in real estate that way. Okay, some people would call it wholesaling today. I was like doing a buy-sell kind of wholesaling, right? Getting basically discounts on my own real estate. Okay, when I bought it, one thing I did was I got my real estate license. And then I bought like a $400,000 property, and I actually saved myself 4% on that, which means that I made 4% of that, right? So that's worth $16,000 right there, like just from the one deal, right? Not to mention I got it under market, right? So I've made it on real estate. Some people mentioned in the chat Pluralsight. I've made $3 million on Pluralsight. Okay, doing Pluralsight courses. Now you might not have that same opportunity today, but there's Udemy, there's lynda.com, there's all kinds of places where you can make online courses and sell that. On my course, like one of my flagship courses, How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer, I sold at least $500,000 of that course, definitely. And on courses in general, like selling courses on my own. On book sales, I'm probably getting close. Like I'm not at $500,000 on book sales yet, but I'll eventually get there from writing books. So yeah. So there's a lot of ways to make $500,000 from my career as a software developer. I've made well over that amount as a consultant. Oh, here we go. I can tell you more. As a consultant, charging when I was charging $300 an hour doing actual software development work. I easily made over 500,000 there. Let's see. Now as a coach, I haven't quite made it yet, but I'll make over $500,000 when I'm charging $1,500 an hour for coaching. So, or $2,000 an hour, $1,500 on if you're on a monthly plan. So yeah, there's a lot of ways. Yeah, trying to think if there's anything else that I left out here that I can think of. No, I can't really think of anything else, but that's what I've done. So, okay. Does that answer your question? Does that make some sense? Something $1,000 product to 1,000 people. Yeah, that will make you $1 million. So, all right, guys. I appreciate you all joining me. Like I said, if you get a chance, go check out the sponsor here. I've got the link in there for the tactical soap, and make sure you sign up for the Bulldog Mindset Quiz if you haven't already, so you can get access to this training to raise your score. And there's a membership, I'll tell you at the end of this, that I'm opening. It's kind of beta right now. We're kind of filling this out, but it's going to have a lot of stuff that like what you saw here on the live stream, but it's going to be more exclusive for the membership type of stuff here. So, all right, guys, take care and have fun.